All right, I just spent the last 8 minutes trying to fix my Spotify Bar Raider Stream Deck plugin, and I think something has changed on their back end. I don't think it works anymore. I just went through the whole process with the API, all failed. So I'm going to have to do some research later to see if something changed or if Spotify disabled the function. But as of right now, I have no Stream Deck control over Spotify in any way. Um, so, I mean, not like anyone actually cares about that other than me, but you will care when I have to like awkwardly mess with the volume slider throughout the stream. So that'll be what happens, I guess. Okay. Okay. I'm here. I've made it. Mostly. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into the show. It is Tuesday. I'm a little. What's that? I'm a little late. Sorry, my watch stopped. But you know what? It's going to be okay. It's a bit quiet in the. Oh, shh. Come on. Rude. Okay. I was saying it's a bit quiet in the Star Citizen streamer world. I would say about 40 to 50% of the general audience for that game are taking a break, which is fine. As long as we still have some friends over here, it'll all work out. And there's our first proof of the day.
FL Lip 1234 has subbed for 54 months. Wazah, beard is looking splendid today.
Flip, thank you for the astonishing 54 months subscribed to the channel. See Ronaldo smashing the like button 54 times on the TikTok stream, but Ronaldo, that's not going to equal the 54 months of Flip here. All right. But I appreciate you anyway. Okay. Thank you. Yes, I just straightened my beard minutes ago. Just realized one of my lights is turned off. Let me show you the difference here. So, oh, and the camera stopped working. This camera has not worked the last 2 days by default. Interesting. Let's fix it right now. A little unplug, replug. Hold on. And then we go into we go into OBS and we turn the source on, then off. That should be enough to fix it. Off, and then back on, and now we wait. Keep waiting. Keep waiting, and look at that. Boom. Now it's on. I don't know why that USB cable is not connecting on its own in the beginning of the show. It's a mystery, but this is why I prefer real cameras with HDMI inputs, because those work consistently the best over and over and over again. Jordan, but there's something at the end of your name. I'm going to call you Jordan. They say, have they fixed the hauling contracts yet? Well, when you say fixed, what are you referring to? I just don't know what you mean. So you let me know what you mean. All right? Is anything ever fixed in Star Citizen? They're saying cargo not spawning. Okay. Has anyone else experienced the cargo not spawning for your cargo missions? I mean, I don't think I did any cargo runs yesterday, so I'm not sure. Mr. Sickness chiming in on TikTok today, Twitch sub gift leader from a couple days ago. They say, yes, cargo broken. Okay. So, all right. It seems like cargo is not functioning very well in Star Citizen right now. Okay. Good to know. Now, is that referring to only missions that you take, or are people able to do individual cargo runs on their own, putting their own credits down to buy stuff and then sell stuff? Because we could test that instead. Flip saying that they've been doing the commodity runs like I just said, but with how the servers are, I'm going to pivot to mining. What do you mean, Flip? What do you mean by how the servers are now? Are you experiencing some losses in your cargo runs? Curious to hear about that. Panamanium chiming in saying servers are degraded. I mean, when are they not? Am I right? I like this message. Is Star Citizen good or extremely good? I I like your attitude, but I fear that it might be a bit misplaced. Well, this explains a bit more of the low view numbers for Star Citizen. So I suppose my primary goal today is going to be to find the gameplay loop that does work well, that is life-giving. You know what I mean? What's this?
Wolfen Rivers has subbed for 36 months. SC is a bit disappointing lately. I've been playing other games.
Wolfen Rivers, tier 3, everybody. That's the highest support system that I have here on Twitch. Thank you for being a tier 3 member for 36 months. That is incredibly helpful because your one sub on my bottom line counts for multiple tier 1 subscribers. So thank you. Thank you very much. Alucard says the Battaglia missions have been working for me. Oh, okay. So maybe we'll try those. Flip says I've been getting into Barony lately. Oh, that game. Yes, that's the first-person Dungeons and Dragons inspired. I don't know what to call it. Retro Doom, lots of stuff game. My partner Annie got that for us, and we jumped in and skipped the tutorial and died immediately. And I've just been waiting to try again. Carl Karchen says, I love your stream. Hey, Carl, I appreciate you being kind. Not something everyone on TikTok does, you know? So I see you. Thank you. Have you played Baldur's Gate? I have played it. I actually played the most recent Baldur's Gate within the first few weeks of launch, over what, almost 3 years ago, whenever that launch was. That was when I was technically homeless. You guys remember that? Remember when the building collapsed into my yard and I got kicked out of my home and I had to live in a hotel or Airbnb for a month? And I was streaming from the kitchen on a countertop that I boosted up with like lifter legs for a bed. Remember that awkwardness? Yeah, I was streaming Baldur's Gate a little bit then. Is it just me, or you can't explore Star Citizen without getting bombed from guns in the heavens? What? What? Are you saying that you're being trolled? What are you saying? I'm confused. We have done prediction polls quite frequently. It's one of, like, for me, all that built-in Twitch stuff, prediction polls and surveys, like, that's all stuff that, like, I feel like moderators who want to do can do. Like, any of the mods out there, you can do those things whenever you want. I'm usually not going to get into the weeds of that because then I have to, like, make a bunch of Stream Deck macros or like right click in and do like, I don't know, like there are ways to engage your audience in all platforms, but isn't the most engaging way just to speak to them and then hear them? Like Twitch has all these integrations and things. And like sometimes I go to a stream and I get overwhelmed by the amount of things bouncing all over the place and like nonsensical chat battles happening. And I'm like, well, what about the person on camera? Do they have anything interesting to say or do? Can't they? Isn't that enough? Yeah, so that maybe that's general, I guess. But how's today's patch, says Paul. Well, Paul, apparently servers are still degraded, and cargo missions are broken, apparently. Part of me kind of wants to try a cargo mission to find out if that's true. But that seems to be no, there's not another. There was a small update this morning. Like I had some kind of partial download. I'm assuming Paul's is referring to 4.9 in general and not today's little addition. But we'll wait and see. Maybe they'll speak back up. Mr. Sickness says, I'd rather the cargo contracts be fixed than the Basher. Oh, was there something wrong with the Basher? Did they fix it? That's one of the newest ships. Nate Morgan over on TikTok says, I'm looking to upgrade my setup. How many control surfaces for like buttons and switches without access? Could you ask that again and be a bit more specific? I don't think I know what you want me to talk to you about. Here's my setup. Maybe you could tell me about what you need help with. Nate, if you're limited on TikTok, come watch on Twitch. Why? It's the best platform for live streaming, and it's the one with the highest quality video, and you get the full screen, not just part of it. But I can still try to answer your question here. But Twitch is where it's at. TikTok is just for like saying, hi, how you doing? You know? What do you think of the Basher? Says Lord the Fourth. I think it is a cool addition to the Grays line of junkyard style ships for all of those people out there that want to have a very scrappy Firefly Reaver like experience in a little fighter. I hope we get more ships like that. I like the idea that in this game we have incredibly fancy ships with all kinds of floating alien hover tech. And then we have this ship that has like chain link fencing for the cockpit glass, you know? Petey says, what keyboard is that? All right, Petey, I use the Kinesis Freestyle Edge RGB split ergonomic keyboard. I've been using this keyboard for about 5 to 6 years. This is the latest model that has all hot swappable switches. So before this, all the switches were soldered into the board, but now they're not. So if you want MX Browns, put them in. You want reds, put them in. Whatever, you can just pull out the switch, put a new one in. The lift kit is also now included in the new board. So if you want to have more of that angle here for even enhanced ergonomics, you can, or you can just flip it down in there if you don't want that. The wrist rest is removable. If you look, I take this one off of that side. That way it's cleaner and I have more mouse real estate. And I just slide this one down and then I can type, and then I push it away and I'm back to gaming. All I'm missing on my left hand is access to the top number row for most games. So I put that top number row over here on these little side buttons. That way I still have access to all the number row and all the buttons I need for gaming. Any game with buttons over here, I can typically put those on a Stream Deck, or if I'm playing Star Citizen or other sim game, put those on my joysticks or my button boxes over here. That's my setup. Any other questions about it, you can just ask me, because I love talking about that stuff. And that'll be a little clip. So thank you, Petey, for that question. Thank you. Slight hiccup while the first clip of the day happens. It's normal. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Is it just me, or when you play Star Citizen, you get thrown in with no knowledge whatsoever? It's true. Playing this game in its current state is kind of like learning to swim by being thrown into a pool. There is a training mode now that sometimes works and sometimes does not work. But in the alpha state of this game, you really need to be someone who's going to just figure it out. Or ask questions to figure out what to do. As there are more support services in this game, the onboarding process will become easier, but it'll always be a bit challenging because let's be real, this game is a sandbox game at its core, meaning you need to be a self-starter and a problem solver to play the game and enjoy it. If you're used to playing Elite Dangerous, you understand this. And if you've played any other game with a steep learning curve like Escape from Tarkov, then you're going to fit right in the world of Star Citizen. And if not, that's fine, because there are other games out there that are spacey that are easier to get into, like Starfield, or even No Man's Sky, which does get quite complex, but in the beginning, No Man's Sky is much easier to get into. Mystic says, why one stick in the middle and one on the left side? Why not both to the sides? Let's discuss that. Mystic, there is a problem when you use the standard keyboard joystick setup. And that problem is you neglect the mouse area. Anyone out there who is rocking a normal keyboard or full-size keyboard with joysticks on both sides and then a mouse over here is always saying, this joystick world is more important than my mouse world. I used to do that. I've been playing games like this since 2015, Elite Dangerous, and I've gone through so many setup changes, and the best setup change I ever did was moving to a middle joystick. That way I can have a big mouse pad, and I can play any keyboard and mouse games like this without sacrificing my analog controls right here. And all I had to do was angle my left hand just a little bit to make it more comfortable. And I got used to this style of flight almost immediately. It is very natural to angle your arm to the left and then just push forward the same way you would if you had a throttle angled to the side. It'd be weird to push it forward like this because your elbow is now getting pushed over to the left. So that's why I use a middle mount joystick. And if you want to ask more, you can, because again, I love talking about this stuff. And I've had lots of practice.
DA Poets has subbed for 68 months. Epic setup for Minesweeper. Love it.
The Poets, everybody. Tier 3 subscriber. Thank you for that. And showing just how long they've been a part of this community with a 68-month resub. Damn, dude. Feels like just the other day we met playing Elite Dangerous. Thank you. Indeed, I am real good at Minesweeper, and this lets me jump around those cells with the quickness you wouldn't believe. The Poets is on their way to an AMD event. Awesome. They're on a plane right now. Hey, thanks for checking in from the plane, man. I actually just had a talk with AMD this morning about a future promotion for a new product of theirs that happens to have an AMD CPU inside it. I can't tell you guys what it is yet, but hopefully they say yes, and then I'll be able to tell you what it is. Yeah. Hint, some of you are going to be very excited. Those of you who have a fondness for retro video games. Just getting caught up on the chat. Mystic asking, have you tried table mounts? Mystic, the problem with table mounts is that it changes the distance from your screen. I also used table mounts once upon a time. And my issue is that when you have table mounts, you're going to have to back away from your desk. If you look right now, my armrests are right here. This is where desk mounts would put that. So if I was to use desk mounts, I would have to be back here at least this far away. Now, that might not be a big deal, but now I am way further from my screen and a lot further from my microphone. So when I was using desk mounts, I had to constantly move the mic to adjust and then push it back when I was going to the desk. And it created more awkwardness. Again, not a big deal for a regular gamer, but for a streamer, that stuff is going to be important because look how I'm in frame right here. And now I'm kind of like quite a bit further back than I want to be. This is stuff you learn over time, you know? I have had so many different configurations and setups. And when you look at the one I have now, trust me when I tell you it is from trial and error over time to find what works the best for me. What works the best for you? You're going to have to try stuff to figure it out. Like, even if you copy what I do, you might not like it. You might be uncomfortable with part of it. This is why you have to try things, you know?
Crispy Bacon has subbed for 55 months. Oh, 755 months. What a time it's been. My daughter is also 8 months old today. It's going by so fast.
Everybody, Quispy with 55 months. Truly some big resubscriptions on the table. And by on the table, I mean in the chat today. I don't know why I said that. Thank you, Quispy, and congrats to your 8-month-old daughter. It's really cool, man. Hello, Ender from Spain. Hey. Hello from Brooklyn, New York. What's a good startup flight stick setup? Get yourself a pair of these. VKB Gladiators. They're about $130 for the base model and $150 for the premium model. If you want to save, get a premium on the right hand and a standard in the left hand. The difference is you lose a couple of the buttons and hats on there. So less buttons on the standard. Or pop for 2 Gladiators premiums. You can use my name to save 5%, but I make 0 monies in any of that stuff. So if you want to say thank you for saving, you can subscribe on Twitch or drop a little donation with exclamation donation in the chat. Someone says, what's the big red button? This is the self-destruct button. This was a gift from our friend Nargo from the Walkers of Sigma over 4 years ago. We bought it on stream. It's no longer available, so I can't even give you a link for it. Sorry. How are these affixed to my desk? With 4 screws per joystick. These typically have a big metal plate underneath them. These are the VKB gunfighters, but I remove the metal plate and I use the mounting screws that go on the plate to go right into my desk. So they are drilled in right here. If you want to look at what my bindings are for Star Citizen, you can type exclamation bindings in the Twitch chat, and that will send you to our Discord where I have a little map. And this guy, someone asked what it is. This is my wrist rest. This is my Delta Hub Carpio G 2.0 wrist rest. I have pretty bad wrists from a lifetime of playing drums and piano and video games, and I need all the support I can get. This helps keep my wrist a bit more comfortable throughout the day, and I have an affiliate code for this as well. Exclamation wrist rest in the chat, or just use code Enterprise on deltahub.io. Yeah. Austin says, bro, you got such a sweet setup. You're the reason I got Star Citizen. Hey. Awesome. Good luck out there. This game is sometimes a nightmare, but also sometimes incredible. Don't worry, the community understands. We're here to help you out when you crash out. Oh, I didn't change my audio yet. Keep forgetting to do this. I use this sound card and it defaults to the main out, but I use the SPDIF output. It's cleaner. Petey with a great simple question. What kind of benefits does a joystick give you? The biggest benefit that you get from using joysticks in a game like Star Citizen is that because the ships move in 6 degrees of freedom, that means they can move in any direction, right? Up, down, left, right, roll, angles, whatever. But every one of those movements can be 0% thrust or 100% thrust. When you use a controller like this, you're going 100%, 100%, 100, 100, 100. You're moving all the way across. But when you use the analog stick here, you're moving a little bit, and then more, and then more, and then more, and then more. Now take that idea of little by little by little, and then make it a larger joystick. Now it's easier to make small little movements, precise control, or go all the way to 100%. That's the biggest advantage you get with joysticks, is now you can have very smooth, very subtle movements in any direction at any time. There's not many video games that allow you to do something like this outside of like Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is why Star Citizen is such a unique game. And that's why so many of us use joysticks. Also, it makes the game way more fun. Flying a ship like this is just straight up fun. At least I think so. Really good questions today. Thank you everyone for these like great questions. It's helping me deal with the reality of like the game not being very good today, because we know the game is a bit awkward today. You look like a drummer. Well, I am a drummer. This is a weird glitch. My dude looks tall. Who wants to bet I am floating above the ground here? Dun 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 dun. Yeah, we're like David Blaining right now. Yep. Yeah. Look at this. I'm about to hit my head. I gotta duck. Huh. Huh. Oh God. Huh. Oh damn. All right, hold on. I bet this fixes itself when I walk into the elevator. This is like if Shaquille O'Neal had a character in Star Citizen. Oh, hold on. Nope. Oh, hold on. Whoop. Okay. Oh. And I think we're back to normal now. Yep. Now we are back on the ground. Boots on the ground. Oh, there we go. I don't play prog metal, Mystic. Nope, I do play drums, but I'm not really a prog metal drummer. I might look it. I'm a ska drummer. I play punk rock and traditional ska music. But I mean, I play everything, to be real. But punk rock and ska are my favorites to play. Here's where I would normally say I play in a band in Brooklyn, New York. But as of today, I no longer play in that band. I received an email, rather a text message, saying that I'm no longer in the band. Why, do you ask? Well, I have some theories, although the text did not go into detail on this, but I do have some theories behind it. My first theory is that, frankly, I'm too loud. I think I'm too loud of a drummer. I've always been a heavier drummer. I've always loved drummers who hit really hard, who are precise with power and precision. This is why I play with the metronome, and I'm very precise. but I do hit really hard. And over the last year, I have tried to play softer in this band and be a bit more dynamic. And I thought I was crushing it. I thought I took the words in, but nope, apparently not. And that's okay, because if it's not a good fit, then you shouldn't keep doing it. You know what I mean? So I have no ill will towards any of them, and I am once again a free agent. But it is something that makes you think, because, like, ultimately, how much of a big deal is the volume of your drummer in a rock band construct? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think anyone ever fired Chad Smith for playing too loud? Well, probably not, because he was lucky enough to be part of the old world of the music business, where a band gets a deal to develop and work on their music and work on their records. So, like, I think that's the problem, is I've always compared myself to drummers who were in different situations, you know? But it is what it is. We move on. We go forward. It's all right. Hint, this is not the first time I have had a group ask me to stop playing with them because I play the drums too loud. And I don't want this to sound like I'm some kind of, like, idiot basher, like an idiot Animal from the Muppets drummer. I am not, you know? Huh. Huh. Do, 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 do. Pat says, not gonna lie, but based on the videos I've seen, you carry that band. Hey, that's really kind of you to say. All drummers who are good carry the band forward. If you see a band that's good, their drummer is good. You never see a good band with a bad drummer. It doesn't exist. You know? It doesn't exist. But thankfully, I live in New York City. I will find a new band to play with. But in my experience, one of the hardest things about finding a band is not finding people who are good at their instruments. It's finding people that you get along with, that manage the band well enough for you to deal with it. It's like the logistics and the reality are honestly the hardest things about being in a band. And that's just the truth, you know? And the last band that I've been in for the past year and a half, there have been managerial decisions I did not agree with, but there was never anything that I found too egregious to, like, not want to play with them anymore, you know? But I'm always, like, I've been in a lot of bands, and when you've been in a lot of bands, you've seen a lot of things. Like, you've seen a lot of bad situations, or you have been a part of a lot of awkwardness, you know? Like, it's always trying to pick the lesser of two evils in a way. Because for every band that's amazing, they have some member of the band who is just, like, impossible to work with, or is super moody and rude. Or you're in a band of, like, all really nice people, but they're not very good. You know, so you're always looking for this mostly perfect situation. And it can be challenging, you know? It can be really difficult to find what I'm describing. It can be. All right. So, what shall we do? Bum, 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 bum. Just getting caught up on the chat. The ironic thing about the band that I've been playing with for the past year and a half is that originally the way this entire thing happened, and I'll go full screen for this, the way this whole thing happened is a friend of mine who is a great drummer who I used to tour with back in the late 2010s. He did a fill-in show for this band, and they said, will you be the drummer for this band? And he said, I don't have the time for it, but I have a friend who's really good. And I was that friend. So I was never choice number one to begin with. I was the second choice that worked out for the last year and a half. And now that friend has more availability in their schedule. So they're going to have him play. So in a way, it's a bit of a full circle like event. So I'm a little upset and I'm a little annoyed, but ultimately they're getting the drummer they wanted in the first place. And I hope it works out for them. I think the biggest question is, will I make myself available for potential fill-ins if they need someone? And that's where I have to decide if I'm going to be salty about this or if I'm going to be not salty about it. You know? That's honestly what's more important in here right now. That's what I'm trying to deal with inside. Dun, 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 dun. It's okay. It happens. If you find someone who's been in bands for 20 years and they've not been fired, they're a liar. Josh Freese got fired from the Foo Fighters. And he's one of the fucking most incredible drummers on the planet with a track record to prove it. You know? So like you it's like you never know what's going to happen. And you have to just keep moving forward and like, you know, on to the next one. I can't decide if I want to try a hauling mission, not like real mission, like using commodity runs, or if I want to look for salvage. I mean, Pandemanium, I hate that you're bringing that up. I have missed the last 2 Twitch drop events because of shows with that band. I don't want to think about that. So, let's pull out the Vulture. Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility. It's all good. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Hey, thank you very much for that follow, Austin. Who in the chat lives in the UK? Out of curiosity. Who out there lives in the UK? TN Nexus says me. Mad Seeker, me. Scorpion, me. Sam T. Willis, I thought you were in Jersey. Knight Rider, yep. I ask because come October, your boy Ender will be making his very first journey to jolly old England, where I will enjoy tea and biscuits and Her Majesty the Queen. Whatever you guys do, I'll be there because I'm going to the UK to visit CIG Studios because they're having a special event. It's a closed event. Only a handful of people have been invited. and I'm going to be one of them there. I think we're going to be seeing some Squadron 42 preview. I think we're going to be doing some developer talks. I don't actually know all the details, but I will be in Manchester, England in the beginning of October. I'm going to try to stay for a week or two because I want to try to make the most of it. Sadly, my partner Annie cannot come on this adventure, so I'm not going to stay for too long, but I am going to try to reach out to some other UK streamers that I know, maybe do some collabs. I want to try to make the most of it, you know, because I have to pay for it. The CIG is not helping fund my trip in any way. I am not going technically as a content creator for the game, although it is impossible for me to remove that part of my brain. But yeah. I'll have to sign an NDA. I don't know how much I'll be able to share with you about the event until after the fact. All of that stuff is pending. Now, B. Regenti, there's actually a lot of vegan food in the UK. I believe their Pizza Hut has vegan options. And I remember seeing something about their Starbucks having vegan breakfast sandwiches as well, and some other things. But I'll be fine. Look, I've been vegan for 16 years. I can survive. You know what I mean? Mad Rock says, I'm thinking of getting the Thrustmaster Solar 2. All right. If you're considering getting the Thrustmaster Solar, I want you to take a really good look at the VKB Gladiator, with or without the Omni Grip. This is with the Omni Grip. This is without the Omni Grip. I say this because, in my experience, more people have joined my chat saying that their Thrustmaster stick is having problems than people who have said my VKB Gladiator is having problems. So from a functionality over time standpoint, and me, who's the person who gets people talking to me all the time, if you can get these in your budget, they might be a better choice for you. Then again, there are people in my chat right now who are having a great time with their Thrustmaster Solar sticks. I think it might come down to a per case situation and maybe how you use the sticks and how much you use them. But that's my suggestion. I do have a partner code for VKB, but I don't make any money off it, so I don't think you can say I'm biased in that way. The VKB sticks are 130 to 150 each. The only time I've been to England is the Heathrow Airport. That's it. What a view to launch your ship right out of Obituary Station, right at the planet known as Bloom. Probably one of the prettiest planets in Star Citizen as of right now. There's that Pyro Star out on my left. I'm in a ship called the Vulture. This is a single-person salvage operation ship that kind of has a tractor-like look to it. But I've got this fancy paint job that gives it a little bit more of more style than it normally would have. One of my favorite things to do in this game is salvaging, because of all the game loops that glitch out, that break, that get weird, I feel like salvage is the most consistently working. But then again, nothing always works in this game, so have a plan B. Let's see if we get lucky and find a wreck site. Is it easy to make enough money in game to buy a ship? Says Wicked. All right, Wicked. It depends on what ship you have, how much you play, and what you're doing. I know that's a bit vague, but it's true. The ship you have will dictate what kind of gameplay you get into from the jump. Where is Shepherd's Rest? There we go. Trigger Happy saying you can make a few million your first day doing the ghillie missions in a starter ship. Well, that's if you're good at combat. Or if the AI is just checked out. I love this. Mystic says, I found Star Citizen because I bought dual joysticks for the farming simulator. And while looking for videos to set them up, I kept getting vids of Star Citizen. Dude, I love that. Did you know that many, many years ago, I almost purchased the Logitech farming simulator controller, that big plastic thing that like clicks onto your desk? I almost bought it. This was back before VKB was a company and was making like button boxes and stuff. I remember looking into it quite seriously. Look at those God rays on the star there. They actually look kind of good. Now we are just pinging, looking for some ships. Could I use a single joystick in Star Citizen? Yeah. Is your joystick right hand or left hand? Or ambidextrous? You could use the left hand joystick, right hand mouse style, preferred by a lot of PvP pilots. Or you could go with right hand joystick, left hand keyboard, giving you analog like pitch and yaw, and then your left hand's probably going to do thruster control on a keyboard. All right, looks like there's no ships here. I think we're going to move on to a different location, but I will move in a bit closer. CIG added some new ship cleanup functions to get rid of derelict wrecks. And I appreciate that they're doing it, but it also has made salvage even more difficult to come across, like legitimate salvage. We got lucky yesterday and we found a crashed ironclad next to this same location. But we're going to have to fly to a different spot, try it out there. Are the Battaglia missions temporary? As far as I know, they are a new, ongoing, consistent mission giver in the Nix system. So I do not believe that's going to end anytime like a limited timed event. But near the landing pads, John, is where I'm looking for crashed ships. Did CIG state that the cleanup protocol only works for ships that are touching landing pads? Also, just a public statement for anyone out there who's watching my show. If you are watching not on Twitch and you like what I'm doing, please come watch on Twitch. It is a better experience. That's the platform I am monetized the most on. And who knows, you might subscribe here, and then that's how this is my job. So, thanks for listening to that spiel. And you can make your choice, you know? I try to read all the chats, but I read the Twitch chat the most. I'm glad I helped inspire you, Mr. Lotus. Fuzzy Melon says, I joined a gym. Gotta catch up, dude. Way to go, Fuzzy. Way to go. My gym quest, I'm 3 years in? And like, you know, I've never had arms, like this before. So, and abs are showing up. I feel more in shape just in general, like my whole body. It's a wild thing to experience change in your own skin when you're already old, you know? The way I can compare it is like when you're a teenager and you're going through puberty and you're like, "Oh, I'm changing." Ooh, like you're all awkward and dumb. But then that kind of tapers off and then you turn like, 20 or 19 and you're like, "I'm the same now." But the gym life has changed a lot about me, and for the better, you know? If anyone wants to talk about gym life stuff, I love having those conversations. Speaking of that, I gotta get my lunch out of the fridge. Hold on. BRB. Speaking of gym life, part of my gym life is my high protein liquid lunch. I am not sponsored by this company, but I have found from all the ones I've tried, the Huel Black meal replacement shake seems to be the best for me in the afternoons. I get 400 calories, 20 grams of protein, and it's a viable lunch, you know? I usually have an acai bowl or avocado toast or a protein shake in the mornings, usually around 11 after I go to the gym. And then 4 hours later, I have that liquid lunch protein shake. And then 4 hours later, I have dinner. And then I don't eat until the next day. On weekdays, I practice what's called intermittent fasting, where I don't eat for 16 hours and then I eat for 8 hours. So I'm still getting all the calories in. It's just in a more condensed area. And for me, that has really helped lose belly fat and prioritize muscle development over fat generation. Because when you turn 40, losing belly fat is really, really hard. Like, it's almost impossible for most of us. And the only way I found was through the intermittent fasting, which I try to do 5 days a week. It takes planning and effort. If you don't plan your meals, you're going to get hungry and tired. So you have to be disciplined. You have to be careful. And you have to listen to your body. You know what I mean? Black coffee is all I consume. Black coffee and seltzer. Like the sugar-free seltzer is all I consume after like 8 o'clock pretty much every night. All right, we are striking out trying to find wreck sites. I went to Shadowfall. I went to how about let's try Windfall. I didn't go there yet. I don't drink anymore either. That also helped shed some belly weight. Yeah, Fuzzy Soup. Have you tried the intermittent fasting? Because if you're over the age of 30 and you're struggling to lose belly fat, I would suggest daily cardio and intermittent fasting. Make sure you get all 3 meals in to that 1 8-hour block. I Mad says, I love your streams, bro. They're so chillin'. Hey. Thank you. Panda, that's a great point. Being diabetic or having any other like situation that deals with the amount of nutrition or things you need to consume, I could see that being much more challenging. I have a feeling that we are not going to find any... Look at how bad the night vision is. The night vision is so bad. Does anyone out there want to try to, like, postulate or guess why Lamp is so shitty? Why is Lamp so bad? I found a possible wreck. Found a possible wreck over here. Ironclad. Hell yeah. I think this is so bad because of lighting stuff. Like, I think the team that did this did a good job on it, but it's failing because of other aspects of the graphics engine. Like, why can I not see the ground at all from here? Like, if I can see the ground when I do this, look, there's the ground. It's right there. Why can't I see it now? It's baffling. And this is why CIG keeps releasing new ships that don't have night vision. I think they're ashamed. I think they know the night vision is shit. If they were proud of it, they'd be making sure that it's installed on every new ship and talking about it. What do you think about the night vision? I mean, now I can see the ground, but I'm right next to it. I can see it without this. Ugh. Two Stone Critics thinks Cloud Tech is messing with Lamp. This is not lore-splaining. It's not because I'm in a Drake. Look at that. Explain how much more I just saw everything when I went to third person. Why is third person got better view than first person? Oh, my mouse is dying. Hold on. My mouse be dying. But that's why I keep the cable right here. There we go. Okay. Got my little bungee. There we go. Now we're okay. But I am happy that we just found a wreck. Good thing those lights illuminate the inside of my ship. Because that's important. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get into a complain fest. It's just too easy to, like... I gotta not keep complaining. DePoet's bringing up one of the biggest tech fails in, like, the world of products. Does Apple still charge their mice from the bottom? Like, is the newest Apple mouse still a bottom charging mouse? Because if so, they truly don't give a shit about you. Like, truly. Like, they don't want you to use a mouse. That's what they're saying to you. They're saying, don't use a mouse. Please buy a trackpad. That's what they're saying. Look at this, everybody. Did we just luck out? Hell yeah, we did. We just found another derelict ironclad. Just chilling. This is great. We are going to farm this and make some money today. Scan it, but who cares? Fine. Fine, I'll scan it. All right. Drake Ironclad. Signature. Mode in quantum, apparently. Got missiles. Reaper 5s. Goliath. Quantum drive. Stronghold ×4. I think this is a stock config. Wait. Are there other ships inside there? Gladius. Huh. We go decoupled. We give it a little bit of thrust to the left. And now my ship is moving across the surface of the ship, allowing me to go hands-free. Hands-free salvaging. So now I can just sit back, enjoy my beverage. And every now and then just give the stick a little tap. Because I am in gravity. If I was in 0G, this would work significantly better. But in gravity, I sometimes have to readjust. Like right there. Now it's fine again. But I did have to give my left stick a little click to the left. Seems like I'm drifting forward a bit. Let's use space brake. Let's give it more thrust, even though it's a little faster than I want to go. Yeah, it's going to keep stopping me. It seems like the decoupled flight is not maintaining my vector as well as I'd like it to here. Watch. I'm full decoupled, but the left thrust is going to stop, and I'm going to just, like, move forward a bit. Interesting. Maybe if I get more parallel? Maybe if I get more parallel to the ship here. Now this is all science now. Let's try this. Let's go full stop. Coupled flight. Point down. Go decoupled and go left. So now we are floating left. In decoupled. I am not using VTOL thrusters. We're using just standard maneuvering thrusters. It looks like we're maintaining that, that port movement. Yeah, we are. So I think, oh, we just stopped. We basically stopped here. What if I turn on the VTOL thrusters? Is that going to change anything or nothing? Let's find out. This is full-on science now. Okay. Again, we're in decoupled. We're going to the left. I am using the VTOL thrusters now on the ship. You can see them right there. I'm not that far from the ground. I'm basically level to the ground. Basically. I'm slowing down, though. I'm not maintaining my speed here. There's got to be some changes to the gravity environment. Maybe wind. I don't know. When's the whole base building going to release? Who knows, Ollie? CIG has not talked about base building in many, many, many months. Kyoto, I'm kind of just doing my own thing today. I don't really feel like organizing or planning. Game is not in the best of places, so I'm just kind of grinding some salvage and chatting with all of you. You know what I mean? Der Brot King, whose name I for sure butchered, says, "Hey, Ender, just got the Aurora pack. Any tips?" Yeah. What do you want to do in the game? what's your draw? Like, what's your interest? What kind of gameplay do you want to get into? That's my first question. I just realized we're using the cinch on my right hand. That is not what I want. I want to use the abrade right there. Oh, here we go. Now we're going to be salvaging much quicker. I didn't realize one of my heads was on the wrong one. I can already see the difference. Vulture comes with a cinch and an abrade. And then on the left-hand side, a cinch and a tractor beam. But if you want to maximize time here, meaning spend less time salvaging, get another abrade and throw that on. Does anyone know if we can craft our own, like, abrade modules yet? Is there a blueprint for it? Because if so, we might be able to get even higher efficiency ratings. I actually would spend some time working on that. Oh, so Battaglia gives you the blueprint for the abrade scraper? Well, right there, that just convinced me to go do some missions for her. All right. Then I suppose maybe we'll do that after I finish harvesting this ironclad. Has anyone gotten an abrade scraper blueprint from Battaglia? Or are we just assuming that she does that? You can see the difference between the cinch and the abrade. The abrade is much larger when it hits the ship. Alucard says yes. But Apollo just looked up that it says Adagio Holdings gives those blueprints. Does that mean there's two ways to get these blueprints? Ooh. Karen Vicosa, whose name I got wrong. I'm so sorry. They say, I got abrade and trawlers. Wait a minute. Did you get the blueprints for abrades and trawlers? Did you get those from Battaglia? No, you were doing the Adago missions in Nyx. Okay. Then I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the Adago missions in Nyx. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I want them for me. I wonder how much better the stats could be if I find high-grade materials. Pocky-Man's already at Prestige 2 for Battaglia. Yo, Pocky-Man has been putting in the work. Good lord. Dude. Yo. No life in it there. Thank you, Manitoban Misanthrope. Appreciate you. To Poets, still downloading 4.9 on airplane Wi-Fi. But you know he's got that premium airplane Wi-Fi. Because if there's some kind of perk to be had to get the best airplane Wi-Fi service, you know DePoets has got it, right? Credit card tie-in, points, whatever, Sky Miles Club, etc. You're on top of all that. Justin says, the quantum drives I crafted are so good. See, that's exciting. I like the idea of crafting modules in this game and making them better than the ones you can buy off the shelf. I just worry about the slippery slope of engineering that, for me, killed a lot of Elite Dangerous. Because did I love tweaking and building my ships in Elite Dangerous? Yeah, I did. But it created a really awkward gap between the players. It basically made it so that if you wanted to engage in, say, I don't know, PvP or Thargoid fighting, you had to sink hours and hours and hours and hours into building these special, unique ships. It's going to be a delicate balance for CIG to not repeat that same mistake. What's this weird line I have on my screen right now? You see this? Is that a glitch? Or is it a line in the canopy? See this? Look at this faint line. Oh, did it go away? Okay, I think it went away. Is it going to come back? I think it was some kind of, it went away. Yeah, there was a little black line there. It was kind of weirding me out, but it seemed to have gone away. Geo thinks this is their friend's abandoned ironclad. Did they leave it next to, on Bloom? Did they leave it on Bloom? Right next to, what's this place called? Shadow something? Hold on. Ugh. Why is it so hard to, like, get the name of where you are? Windfall. Is it on Bloom next to Windfall? There we go. Time to go update or rather make some boxes. The filler station is full. This ship has a 13 SCU hopper, meaning once you fill that up with 13 boxes, you must now create those boxes and put them in the back of the ship, which we'll do right now. How much RAM is needed for this game? For most people, the answer is 32, but many of us use 64. I, for example, am using 35 gigs of RAM right now to play the game. So, for me, 64 is required. But for you, 32 might be fine. You must have a tractor beam to move the boxes here inside the Vulture. I think it's a bit dumb. I think if they made this ship today, this would automatically slide out onto the rack, since every other salvage ship they have made since this one has had some kind of automated box moving system. But it doesn't have that. So have a tractor beam and move them. If you don't have one, after you salvage a ship, you can use this to actually print and craft your own tractor beam and multi-tool. So if you don't have it, you can make it as long as you have a ship to salvage. Fireball showing off that 60 stream streak. That's ridiculous. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you're watching on a platform that is not Twitch, I'd like to encourage you to make the switch to Twitch, because this is the platform I am monetized on the most. This is the platform that I get subscriptions on that make me revenue to keep doing this as my job. Look at this, everybody. Apollo coming to steal the boxes from me so I can just keep on salvaging. Thanks, buddy. Oh, God. Hey, the game has gotten way better at, like, understanding who's tractor beaming what box. Do you guys remember when, like, we first had, like, the ability to tractor beam stuff, and, like, if one person had a beam on it and you put a beam on it, then it would get locked. It would get, like, unable to be moved. It's not perfect, as in nothing in this game is, but at least that's working significantly better than it used to. You know? People forget how long we've had tractor beams in this game. They've been working on the tractor beam stuff in this game for many, many years now. Like, when did we first get the tractor beam to move boxes? 2023? Opinion on the Carrack. I think the Carrack is an example of a once awesome ship in this game that has been left to the wayside in pursuit of creating newer ships that CIG can sell to you to help fund the game's development. The Carrack needs updates. The Carrack needs more love. It needs to be updated. It's not terrible to use in any way, but it needs updates to be as good as the other ships we have in the game. Same thing can be said for 890 Jump. Cuddy Black. Mercury Star Runner. I could do this all afternoon. That's all the boxes. Thank you so much, Apollo. Chat, can we get some applause for Apollo? Grabbing the boxes for us here? Come on. What a buddy. What a buddy. Thank you, dude. And now we can just keep on salvaging. Where do you sell the scrap? When you say scrap, are you referring to the RMC, the salvage material that I'm getting? You can sell them at any major landing zone, but also many different like planet-side locations here. Oh God. Sorry, I didn't realize. I forgot if that's how the ramp works on this ship. I forgot. I just bumped into Apollo. Sorry, buddy.
Greg Galactic activated the Prime sub. 51 is 16 from 67. Coincidence or intentionally derived values?
Greg Galactic, everybody. 51 months. Thank you for so many months of support, subscribing here on the channel. I say this every time. Without the long-time subscribers, I would have had to give up on this dream of being a full-time streamer many, many years ago. Thank you. I look forward to meeting more people and continuing to do this job and doing it bigger and better, and we'll see what happens, you know? So thank you. Why don't I use G when salvaging? Oh, you mean gimbal mode? Because I have a twin joystick setup and flight pedals. And for me, this is more fun and more interesting than just wiggling the mouse around. If you are a keyboard and mouse player, why would you not use gimbal mode? But as a joystick and pedals player, I don't see the need. The function of the gimbal would let me use the mouse to literally aim anywhere on the ship. Kind of like what I'm doing by flying the ship around. I suppose if I had to stay in place. Also, I could link my Tobii eye tracker to the gimbals and like move it around like this, but that would be ridiculous. How often do I fight other players? Not that often. Because I don't prioritize PvP in this game. Because for me, playing this game is hard enough. Why do I want to roll in fighting other players into that? Like, I want to play the game, and I want to fight other players, but I don't want to fight the game and fight other players. Do you know what I mean? Some people want to do that, because if your goal is to be the best, then that's what you have to do. It just doesn't necessarily give me as much enjoyment, you know? Right now we are salvaging, scraping the metal off of this random ironclad I found outside of a little planet-side base in the Pyro system. I think PvP is something that's really easy to get into at first, and then you're like, wait a minute, does this suck? Or like, is this even fun? I also find it challenging to stream the PvP content because so much of it is just like stalking and tracking down whoever you're trying to fight. And then sometimes they just log off. And you're like, oh, well, that was a waste of time. You know? You just need to be prepared to be let down. Whenever you take a player bounty contract, be prepared for that to not pay off, you know? Because of them staying in the station, or them leaving the game, or having a really awkward experience. Osboros wants to know about my rig. You can do exclamation specs in any of the chats to get a full rig rundown, both for my gaming PC and the streaming PC, which handles all of my cameras across all 3 of my different streams I'm running, Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. The TikTok bot is sometimes very bad and doesn't work very often. So come to Twitch if you want it to work, or I'll just tell you the gist of it is AMD 9800X 3D processor and a 4090 GPU with 64 gigabytes of RAM. All solid state drives. Do you get a lot of money for salvaging? All right, so for a full haul of salvage inside the Vulture, meaning you fill up the entire trunk with about what, 15 boxes, and then you have an entire hopper as well, full, you can get about 200 to 300,000 credits. If you put boxes off the grid and stack them in the other spots in the back of the ship, you might be able to make a little bit more. What the? Apollo is shooting my ship. Stop shooting my ship. They're trying to break in the door, I think. Apollo was able to open the ramp. Hilarious. So we'll have to go inside and investigate this. It's probably empty in there, but you never know. Apollo is a bit of a loot goblin, though, so I understand why they're doing this. Osbaros, thank you so much for moving from TikTok to Twitch. Thank you. Twitch is the platform that I make money on the most. That's how this is my job. If I was only a TikTok streamer, this would not be a job for me. So thank you, Twitch fam. Appreciate you. I'm using decoupled flight to try and like make this a bit easier. As you can see, my ship is kind of moving to the right on its own. So I'm just kind of pushing the right stick a little bit to keep me stabilized. I think gravity and wind is moving me right now. Patty, I don't think I said either of those. What did I... What? Valorous with the question we get every single day. Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen? It all depends on you. Do you want a game that works, that is mostly finished? Elite Dangerous. Do you want a space game that is not finished, but is pushing the technology of video gaming and doing things that no other game has ever done before? Then Star Citizen. But do you want to play a video game? Elite Dangerous. Do you want to test and discover a video game? Star Citizen. As someone who has played Elite for about, 6 or so years and then switched to this game for the last 6 years, I can speak to the benefits of both games. And I can tell you that for me, the new and exciting and the technology behind this game interests me. Where Elite Dangerous used to excite me a lot, but over the last couple years, it's just like, why don't they just start working on Elite Dangerous 2? Why are they still developing that game? You know? You're allowed to disagree here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So let me know what you think. Starfield is just an FPS game. Starfield is an FPS game that happens to have a space aesthetic. It is not a space sim game where you fly ships. Filler station full.
Landing gear down. Perfect landing.
Here we go. We're parked right behind my buddy Apollo's Starfarer, so we can easily move the boxes out of my ship and into their ship. Starfield is still an interesting game that has had updates over the last couple years. It's just not what I would call a space simulation game like Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen. Fortune versus the Vulture, says Big 55. All right, the Vulture has 2 salvage heads. The Fortune has 1 salvage head. I think the only reason to suggest the Fortune over the Vulture is price point, either in-game or website, and then size of ship. Do you need a smaller salvage ship because you want to put it inside another ship? For example, putting the Vulture inside the Polaris fills up the entire hangar of that Polaris, basically. But you can fit 2 Fortunes in there, allowing you to have a Fortune and say maybe, I don't know, a Golem, another kind of ship. So the TLDR answer is that Vulture is better, but certain circumstances might mean that you want the MISC Fortune instead. Have I seen The Expanse? Of course. I watched The Expanse when it was new, like episodes on TV, week to week. What an incredible series. One of the best science fiction series of the past 15 years. I've been meaning to read the book. It's been sitting on a shelf behind me for like a year. There is an even smaller salvage ship, Big 55, as well. The little guy is called the Salvation. That's the most attainable salvage ship. You could fit a bunch of Salvations inside an Ironclad. You could probably fit like 6 of them in there. The poets reading my mind and mentioning Battlestar Galactica. Because the BSG remake from the, mid-2000s was so incredibly good that IMO, it kickstarted a whole renaissance of sci-fi television shows. I don't think we would have got Star Trek Discovery back on TV without the popularity of Battlestar Galactica and then The Expanse, you know? Because the executives who greenlight those projects, they could give a shit about the things that you love or care about. All they care about is the color of green and money. So if some company makes money with something and then they can make something similar and then make money off it, they will greenlight it and they'll say yes. You know? Is there a way to change cargo box sizes in the hauling contracts? No. You cannot change the size of the boxes. If your ship can only do size 1s and the mission is a size 4, you can't do that mission. There is currently no official way to resize the boxes. You have to read the mission description fully to see what sizes they are. I hope in the future CIG will make some kind of like shortcut in the contracts menu to say like, this mission is so many boxes, size of boxes. So that info could be given to you without needing to read the entire contract. This is not me saying, don't want read. It's me saying, give me all the details in a itemized list so that when I'm doing missions over and over again, I can just look at those. There is an auto eject. It just glitches out because of things happening. So very frequently, that was glitching out because of Apollo's tractor beam to this spot, I'm pretty sure. So now we're done. But I had to keep double checking on it because anything that interrupts the flow here or gets in the way there will sometimes mess up that auto eject feature. Now, normally we'd already be done and we'd be going back to sell at this point. But because I have my buddy Apollo here in the Starfarer, we can get right back to business, harvesting all of the RMC on this random derelict ironclad that I found sitting on the planet of Bloom. Right there. There she is. Cargo manifest is needed, says Jim. Yeah, Jim, that's what I'm talking about. Cargo manifest. Thank you for putting it in a very eloquent and realistic way. Thank you. Can I salvage the bottom of the ramp? Yes, I can. Thanks for that follow, kitty. Puppy inspector with the little heart hand. Thank you. Do I know when the Drake Clipper will be available again? No, but I'm going to guess and say that the day CIG puts the crafting bench to work in the game, the Drake Clipper will be available once again. Because whenever there's a new feature to sell a ship with, CIG always takes advantage of that opportunity. Always. We are using 2 abrade scrapers right now. This ship comes standard with 1 cinch, 1 abrade, and a tractor beam. But you should swap one of those cinch modules for an abrade if speed is what you're looking for. They cover a larger surface area and scrape the ship much faster. This is not a contract. I found this ship in the wild. In my opinion, taking those missions when you already have a ship the size of a Vulture or not is just, it's done too quickly. Like, you're done immediately. It's all like little Gladius and whatnot. So I go to a bunch of the different outposts and look for ships. Today on Bloom, I had to go to 3 different outposts. And on the 3rd outpost, I found this. A crashed player ironclad just waiting for me to steal all the metal off of it and make some credits. Venom got to try out the Siege of Orizon in the Evocati build. Awesome. I hope you had fun. I really enjoyed Siege of Orizon years ago when it was first introduced. I just felt like the game engine couldn't support the FPS environment. It just felt, again, like shooting a bunch of fish in a barrel, so to speak. So I'm hoping that there's been some improvements to that end and that the FPS combat feels a bit more snappy and interesting. Mining can be a good way to get credits, but mining is very difficult, PD. It's a very complex game loop with a lot of details and a lot of stuff to memorize, and it tends to change every couple patches. Salvaging has remained almost identical since it was first introduced years ago, which is why new players looking to get into either mining or salvage, I usually suggest salvage first. What game is this? question TikTok always asks me. This is Star Citizen. I am salvaging in the Drake Vulture right now. If you're waiting for the Orion, be prepared to wait many, many years. I don't think that ship is going to be real until many years after 1.0 has launched for this game. So we're looking at, I'm going to estimate 2030 is my conservative estimate for when the Orion will be in this game. Conservative. A question like, has optimization gotten better, leads me to ask, better than what? Better than patch 3.8? No. Better than patch 3.0? Yes. Better than patch 4.0? Maybe. You know? Like, if you're coming in from not playing the game for 1 to 2 years, I'd say yeah. But from a standpoint of 6 months ago, nah, I don't think so. How does salvage work? Great question, Gino. See this ship? I am scraping the metal off of it. We call this RMC, Recycled Material Composite. While that's happening, it's being collected inside the ship's hopper, and then in the back of the ship, I actually have a kind of press, if you will, that will push all that out into boxes right here. Single boxes, 1 SCU size boxes. So I scrape the ship until my hopper is full, and then I make the boxes and fill up the back of the ship, and then I can keep scraping until I fill up the hopper again, and then I have to go sell. I can go to any landing zone, or there are many different outposts on the surface of planets that I could also sell that at. Or in this case, I can toss it into my buddy's much bigger ship over there, the Starfarer, which is what I've been doing. Because I'm not going to leave here until we've finished this entire job. So having a friend with a bigger ship means you can do even more salvage and make even more credits. How was that? Now, technically, RMC is just the first part of the job. After RMC comes construction materials. But to get that, you have to crack the ship apart using the fracture mode, then disintegration mode. However, in this ship, I am too small to crack this ship. So I won't be able to use the fracture mode and disintegrate because my ship is too small to crack this ironclad in front of us. I would need the reclaimer in order to crack this thing, I'm pretty sure. And then you get what's called construction materials. Looks the same, but is different. The construction materials need to be refined just like minables. So you have a step in between getting and selling. You have to go to a refinery deck and put them into one of the refinement computers, choose a refining method, and then wait many hours of real time. Like, it could be 8 hours or more. After that, you can then sell those construction materials or use them for missions. Now, we do have a reclaimer. We could call it. I have one. A bunch of my buddies have them. But I'm less interested. We might come back. Like, I'm going to fully scrape this ship, go store the RMC, And then maybe I'll get my reclaimer and come back and see if it's still here. It might be. We also don't know how the new ship cleanup system is working. Like, this is not that far from an outpost. So is the new cleanup protocol going to despawn the ship? We don't really know. Apollo with the screenshot for me. Okay, I'll check it momentarily. Cognitive Umami, great name. Asking about my joysticks. I use the VKB Gunfighters. Here is a better view for you. Middle mount and left hand. They are both the Gunfighter Premium grips with the Cosmos Semas. That's the name of this space grip. And then I have a bunch of button boxes as well from VKB, Throttle Quadrant, SEM, General Aviation Unit. VKB is a brand I've been working with for about 5-6 years now. You can use my name to save 5% on all their stuff, but I don't make any money off those sales. So if you save, you can say thank you with a subscription or a little donation to the channel using exclamation donation. And filler station is full once again. Let's get back over here. Park. And let Apollo grab those boxes and throw them back in. Or I could grab them as well. We'll see whichever works out. Doing this in third person because the game lacks the actual in-game cameras to do this without using third-person camera effectively. There we go.
Perfect landing.
We're landed right behind the Starfarer, so we can get back to work making those boxes. Thank you for that follow. Now this should auto eject, but it gets mixed up when the tractor beam hits this spot here, so we might have to check that button every now and then. Apollo's over there with the max lift tractor beam, which has a much further range than my little handheld one here. So he can grab it from right there. That's his little laser sight. Boom. And it looks like it's continuing to work with the auto ejection process. Awesome. Yes, the max lift also has a higher weight capacity as well. Do I have one with me? I don't have one with me. I forgot it. Who is that guy talking to in my chat right now? Are you talking to me? Do you think I'm in a parent's basement? You would be mistaken. I live in Brooklyn, New York. Nice to meet you. I have not lived in a parent's basement since I was 18 years old. I will keep my thoughts on living in parents' basements over the age of 18 to myself because I realize that they are not popular opinions anymore. Wink. Purple Purple says, love your shorts. Keep up the great work. You're the reason I began playing Star Citizen. Hey. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just feel that your life as an adult doesn't really begin until you have left the nest, if you will. You know? How can you become a responsible adult if you don't learn to live on your own? All right. I'm just going to run over here and let you see this ship, since Apollo is like crushing it right now, grabbing them boxes. Everyone say hello to the Starfarer. Look at all this salvage we've done today. Dude, everyone in the chat, please put your hands together for Apollo. Making it happen for us today. Hell yeah. Thanks, buddy. These are all fuel tanks, and this is the fuel hose right here. This ship can be used to refuel any other ship in the game. It's a feature that's been in the game for quite a while, but it finally works very consistently. They had to retool it and change it quite a bit, and the fuel hose doesn't really go to where the fuel port is on your ship, but it does work, and it's pretty impressive, and it's actually a good way to make credits if you have a Starfarer. There is PvP in this game. The fuel contracts are great and easy money. Our buddy Apollo has made a lot of money grinding those missions. Pretty much when 4.8 first started, Apollo just did those over and over and over again. I'm pretty sure they made quite a few million. Keep in mind that even though this game is not done yet, it does not mean that it's not fun to play or interesting. I myself have been streaming this game about 5 days a week for the better part of 6 years now. So don't let the unfinished part stop you from trying and enjoying the game. That would be my opinion. Whoa! I just knocked myself over with the tractor beam and the box. Hey, I'm impressed at how well handing off things is working with the tractor beam. You see that? I had it in my tractor beam, Apollo put it in theirs, and the box didn't get messed up. That's actually pretty cool. Oh, this game's graphics are absolutely next level. 4-star. Like, Star Citizen is an absolutely gorgeous video game that will push your computer to its absolute limits. Like, legitimately. Most people who get into this game have to upgrade their rig within like 6 months just so they can keep playing it. Because it is not optimized yet. And now we are back to work, salvaging this found ironclad. I found this just outside of a little outpost here in Pyro on the Bloom planet. And I've been salvaging it for the past hour and a half. And I'd say we already have about 300,000 credits worth of salvage. A full haul in the Vulture should make you about 250,000 credits. And this entire ship is probably 2 to 3 full loads of credits. So we're looking at what? 2, 4, 6. Conservatively, I'm going to say 600,000 credits, but highest could be 800 to 1 million. There is no way to take ownership of this wreck, not in the game yet. That functionality is not part of the project yet. I could fly it away if the components still function, but as soon as the owner of the ship claimed it to fly it again, it would brick the ship, meaning it no longer flies. And how do you know it's a good stream? When I have to ban someone for just being annoying in the chat. Love that. Love that. It's not a good stream unless I have to ban at least one person on TikTok. But do you think they want that? Like, when you join my chat and just say scam citizen multiple times, that's the desired effect, right? So in that way, I gave them what they wanted. They wanted to be punished, which is a trait that is fine. You know what I mean? There are DOMs, there are subs, there are roles. It's all good, you know? What's the most lucrative way to make credits? Well, it really depends on the ship you have. Because if you have a big hauling ship and you have a couple million in credits already, you can do commodity cargo runs where you're investing, say, 2 million in cargo and making 500,000 credits every run. But that's kind of a, you gotta be rich to keep getting rich situation, you know? Where if you have a vulture and you go salvaging and you find a larger ship like I did, a full salvage run, meaning inside of the ship and hopper, is going to net you about 200,000 to 300,000 credits. So you're looking at maybe 1 hour of gameplay time, but it all depends how fast you are at doing this stuff, you know? Some people are faster than others at the gameplay. I never prioritize like min-max for me. For me, this game is not about min-maxing. It's not enjoyable for me. Also, I don't think it works reliably enough for me to focus on that. Salvaging is so much easier than mining. Mining is really challenging and nuanced and difficult. You'll fly around an asteroid belt for like 20 minutes looking for a rock just to find a rock that is way too big for you to crack in your ship. You know? But if you know what you're doing, mining can be very rewarding and can be really fun. But the know what you're doing part is really important there. The people that are good at mining are the ones who know how to prepare, bring all the modules, and find the rock, and then figure out how to crack it based on the modules they brought and the lasers they have on their ship. Salvaging, you can kind of just have your ship and that's enough. Rocky Raccoon, speaking my language here. I am looking forward to being able to bring components to a bricked ship, replace them, and fly the ship away. Exactly. Exactly, dude. I want that as well. It is unfortunate that because of the money duping problem that CIG had to basically destroy the entire steel ship salvage gameplay loop. It's a bummer. I look forward to them finding a way to marry these ideas of not having an exploitable call ship, sell modules, call ship again system, but then also reward players who want to do legitimate salvage and find a ship like this and then repair it and use it, you know? Mine Fur is saying, all you got to do to go mining is run a Helix 2 with 3 Rigers and bring 3 Surge modules. I mean, you say it that way like it's common knowledge. You just said multiple layers beyond most people's understanding of mining in this game. Just going somewhere and swapping components on your ship is a lot in this game for most people. That's why salvaging is so much simpler. The ship is set up already to do the task at hand. And once you get good at salvage, yeah, you could try mining out, because if you're good at salvage, you'll be great at mining. Gino asking, can you upgrade the salvage ship? Yes, you can. See over here where it says cinch and abrade? These are 2 different salvage heads. I suggest running the abrades to salvage faster. I always swap out and put abrades on my salvage ships. This ship by default has 1 abrade and 1 cinch, so I buy 1 extra abrade. But after this, what we're going to do is we're going to run Hidalgo holding missions in Pyro, trying to unlock the blueprint for the abrade scraper module, because then we can print our own scraper module that will have higher stats and give a better yield than the one I can buy in game. Because when you get blueprints and you craft things using high quality materials, it'll be better than the item you could buy in the store. And that's my next adventure that I'm already excited about. A moth might be able to crack this, but I don't know for sure. I know a reclaimer can, but I'm not sure if the moth can. Speaking of cracking ships, we're talking about the act of using the fracture mode to crack the ship apart. I want CIG to make salvage fracture beams work like the mining beams, because right now they don't stack. If I had 4 players here in Vultures, we cannot combine our powers to crack this ship in half. Where if this was a rock, we could combine our mining lasers to crack this thing in half. I don't know why CIG has not added that functionality. Like, do they not want the same teamwork in salvaging that we have in mining? Or is it an oversight and they just haven't gotten to it yet? I don't know. But I know that if we could combine salvage powers to crack bigger ships, it would give us some more multiplayer opportunities to use multiple small ships for salvaging. That would be better and more fun. This is a player ship that I found, Lord Vile. Found it just outside a random outpost here on the planet of Bloom in Pyro, which is where I usually go to look for wrecks. Thank you, Rocky Raccoon, for answering that question for me. Sometimes, Johnny. It all depends. Can you salvage player ships that are not wrecked as long as the shield is turned off? Any ship with no shield is salvageable. If the shield is on, cannot salvage it.
Lord_V1 activated the Prime sub.
Everybody, Lord Vile is today's very first brand new Amazon Prime subscriber. You're the first person today to subscribe for the first time by linking your Amazon account and Twitch account together to get one free sub that makes me a couple bucks and lets me do my job easier to continue, you know? Thank you. We have had some huge resubs from our established community. And I thank you for continuing to support my show. You're the first new person, so thanks so much, dude. Appreciate it. Maybe there'll be even more today. Who knows? Look at that. And there's number 2, Strikey005.
Strikey005 activated the Prime.
Strikey. Thank you, Strikey. Appreciate you. How'd you guys find my show? Let me know. I'm curious about that. Oh, man. And here comes a third sub.
Navy's Moose activated the Prime.
Navy's Moose. Navy's Moose. Thank you. That is a resub, everybody. 6 months in for Navy's Moose. And the hype train has been activated. If you have been considering gifting subs today, the time to do that would be now, because we'll unlock more emotes for the community. And oh my God.
Navy's Moose dropped a 50 sub bomb.
Calling it right now. No one is going to beat this gifted sub pile. Everybody bow down to Navy's Moose for dropping not 1, not 5, not 15, not 25, not 45, but 50. 50 gifted subscriptions here on the channel. That is without a doubt 20 to 30 more than a given full stream nets me. You know? Thank you, Navy's Moose. Your generosity is most appreciated. If you got a sub just now from Navy's Moose in the chat, please say thank you. And I got to ask Navy's Moose, what brings you back to my channel? Like, what is it about me or this place or whatever's going on here that connects with you? Because I'm always trying to think about that. I'm always trying to think about, what do I do that connects with someone in a way that matters, that makes you want to come back and be a part of the show and watch and support, you know? Because ultimately, that's what an entertainer, a streamer, a broadcaster, a teacher has to continue doing to keep this going, you know? So whatever you got, I'd love to hear it. Thank you again, Navy's Moose. And that just shot us up into a what level hype train? Level 7 already. Damn. Damn.
Kaya Apologist activated the Prime sub.
Kai Apologist with the Prime sub. Thank you. Thank you, Kai. Can I call you Kai? Thank you. Cognitive Umami, thank you for talking to our TikTok friends about how they can use their Amazon account to help me out. Really nice of you. Thank you. I always think about how many unused Prime subs are just out there. Like, how many people use Amazon that don't watch on Twitch, and how much potential revenue there are for streamers out there. Snooze says, you deserve it, Ender. Hardest working streamer here. That's nice of you to say. There's a lot of hard working streamers. I'm not saying I'm the only one that works hard, but thank you for seeing my effort level. Thank you.
Araz14 activated the Prime sub.
Hey, Araz with another Prime sub. Thank you. Or is it Eraz? Thank you very much. Mad Mardigan, we are using this ship, the Drake Vulture, to salvage a random player-owned ironclad that I found here on the planet of Bloom. Just found it outside an outpost. I flew to maybe 3 or 4 different outposts, and then I found this. And we've been here for the past 2 or so hours salvaging it. When I'm done, we will switch to fracture mode, but I don't think I can crack it. I don't think I have enough power. We're going to have to go get a vulture. I'm sorry, go get a moth or a reclaimer to crack this thing, I'm pretty sure. Comedy is Mad Mardigan. I found one of these yesterday as well, outside a different Bloom outpost. So I'm 2 for 2 on finding derelict ironclads. I did not have the landing gear down to slow my movement. I actually disabled that option in the binding menu. I don't like that the ships automatically slow down when you have the landing gear out. I just forgot to put the landing gear back up. That's all. Will I ever go back to Elite Dangerous? Probably not. I think the only thing that could ever bring me back to playing Elite Dangerous is if all the ships got interiors, which will never happen because I don't think their game engine can support that. Elite is a game with a lot of historical love for me. It's the first PC game I ever truly fell in love with, as I didn't get into PC gaming until 2015. I was a console gamer before that. And Elite Dangerous taught me that I love space sims, and I like joysticks, and I like all this. And I wouldn't have found Star Citizen without Elite Dangerous, you know? It was a stepping stone for me in many, many ways. And I'll never forget that Frontier Developments put a base in the game and named it after me as an always in the game location. It's called the Ender's Enclave. It's in the Atacapa system, planet 8H, I believe. And yeah, they also got me on the front page of Twitch to stream Odyssey when it released in 2020. And I streamed for 30,000 people at the same time. Still the biggest stream I've ever done in my life. Will that ever happen again for me? Who knows? But if it does, I will crush it because I am way better at this job now than I was in 2020. You know? So there you go. Yes, Umami in patch, I want to say 4. Was it 4.0? Maybe? When they added the automatic ship slowdown when you put the landing gear out? I think it was 4.0. There is a option in the game options menu that will let you turn that function off. It's called like automatic slowdown or precision aim, or I think it's maybe called automatic slowdown. If someone knows the name of it, you could let me know. It's buried in that game options menu. Ken says, are you repairing? No, Ken, I'm doing the opposite. I am taking metal off the ship and not putting metal on the ship. I'm doing the opposite of painting. I am stripping the paint. In which case, oh, I'm done. How long was I done? How long was I full? Damn, I hope it wasn't too long. Crap. I wish the ship would, like, flash with lights when you were full. Like, I want a more intense... I'd like a more intense alert that lets me know, hey, you're done. You done did all the scraping. It's time to stop. You know? There we go.
Perfect landing.
And now we just open the door, use the hopper to make some more boxes, and then we throw all those boxes into my buddy Apollo's Starfarer right there so we can maximize the job. Is the Moth bad for scraping? Not at all. The Moth is a great ship. However, it does have a glitch right now where the boxes aren't being formed correctly or the boxes aren't attaching correctly. So the Moth is a great ship, but is it caught in a glitch right now? Very possibly. Strikey says, when Squadron 42 comes out, it'll be so great for the Star Citizen content creators. Exactly. Why do you think I'm mad that the game might get delayed and not come out this year? I have been banking and hoping and dreaming and waiting for Squadron 42 to release in 2026. I have been waiting for it to release in 2026 since 2023 when they told me it was going to come out in 2026. Now, I get to go to Manchester, England in October for a special event where I might get to play Squadron 42 and I might get to learn about when the release date is. Fingers crossed. But I don't know that that's going to happen, you know? It's a maybe happen, not a confirmed. We have to wait and see. But when Squadron 42 does launch, we are going to get thousands and thousands and thousands of new people looking at that game who are going to beat the game within a month or two and then be like, what's next? And I'll say, this is next. This game. And Star Citizen's going to get a massive boost in popularity. Now, many of those Squadron players will not stay. Many of those Squadron players will be like, this game is not done. It's not fun. And that's fine. But there's going to be a few months of epic prosperity for me and everyone that streams Star Citizen. And I know what's going to happen. The big streamers out there who don't really play this game or have been kind of looking at this game, they're going to stream Squadron 42. And they're going to have many thousands of views, right? And then their community is going to be like, hey, go play Star Citizen. And then they will. And they'll be bad at it. They'll be confused. They'll be upset at the glitches. And they will move on. They'll get bored after a month or two. But a fraction of those big streamers' audiences will want more of this game. They will want to see and learn more about it. And that's where me and Space Tomato and Salty Mike and Zero and all of the well-known streamers in this community are going to benefit, because we're going to get people from those big streamers to come watch our streams. That is my hope. That is my dream. And now you know. That's been my plan for years, waiting for that moment. You know? So there you go. There's an impassioned speech for you. How was that? But there are no guarantees in the world of content creation. You know what I mean? We could go into the future 5 years, and this game could be out, version 1.0, and I could still be a 100 viewer channel. You know, you truly don't know what's going to happen in this world, in this job. You have no idea. All right, I'm going to leave my ship here so we have a beacon to come to. I'm going to go... What the... Close the door. I'm going to go with Apollo, and we're going to go store all these boxes. And I'm going to get a reclaimer, and I'm going to come back and crunch that ship up. So this is all the salvage from an ironclad. There's not really much more on it. There's maybe like, we're talking at most 3 boxes left on that ironclad. Maybe. Now, this ship is a maze, so I will follow Apollo, because otherwise I'll definitely get lost. Not confirmed, but like probably. This is one of the oldest big ships in the game. It's called the Starfarer. Thank you, Apollo, for flying us, my guy. Thank you. Here we are. This one is the Gemini, which has those missiles in the mouth of it right there, if you will. Pretty confusing interior because this ship is very old. CIG has gotten much, much better at designing the interiors of these ships since the launch of this one. This one was probably designed in, say, I don't know, what, 2008? 18? 2018? I mean, they didn't have a design for the game in 2014 yet. Like, they might have concepted it in 2014. But, like, when did they finally get the interior all done and white boxed? You know? I guess it could have been 2016, maybe. To, like, look at it in the hangar. Which, by the way, this game's gameplay back in 2016-17 was just looking at a ship in a hangar. That was it. The hangar module. When I'm in this ship, I am reminded of something I still want. I want a combat salvage ship. We still don't have a ship that is made for combat piracy salvage. Like, imagine if the Moth had, like, 2 more turrets on it, maybe. Or something like a Vulture with an actual gun turret on top. That's what I want. Does an Asgard with a salvation in the cargo count? No. This is Star Citizen, Unstable Chicken. We are in the Invictus launch week, styled paint here in a Gemini Starfarer, full of salvage from a found ironclad on the planet of Bloom. We're going to go land in my buddy Apollo's hangar, throw it on the cargo freight elevator, then I'll put it down and it will be locked to my account then. And then I'm going to switch ships into my reclaimer and we're going to go back and we're going to crunch up what is left of that ironclad as long as it is still there. Hopefully it does not despawn. We'll find out. Huh. Show them the Gemini's captain bed. Best bed in game. Well, because of the bed sheets? Now, if I really wanted to do this fast, I could call an Atlas loading mech to help us out. But I'm not going to do that. Apollo would just toss them out here and then I'll grab them. And we can show off how well the dual tractor beam method is working. Look at that handoff. This would not have worked at all a few patches ago. One tractor beam to another, forget about it. I'm actually kind of impressed right now. Right? How do I get the game? You can click the link in my bio. It's $45. You get it from robertspaceindustries.com. Use my referral code. It makes you some extra starting credits. I make no money on that stuff. It's just a way for you to get some more credits. Or don't. It doesn't really matter to me. PC only, yes. And you need to have a very powerful PC and a very patient mind. This is a alpha game in every way. When you watch my show, you are seeing best case scenario every time because I have a very powerful purpose-built computer for this game and an immense knowledge of this game and its systems and glitches. So if you see me struggling and having a bad time, just imagine how bad of a time you're going to have. And the smile on my face and laughter let you see that I understand where I'm at. I get it. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 6 years, all right? This is not news to me. But it might be news to you the first time you download the game and go, oh my God, this is so bad. Well, I know. Should have seen it last year. Should have seen it year before. Should have seen it year before. Year before. Year before. OMG, everybody.
Exceed_VX dropped a 20 sub bomb.
Exceed is back gifting subscriptions. We just got 20 gifted subs from Exceed. Thank you, man. Thank you very, very, very much. About 20 minutes ago, Navy's Moose came in and dropped 50 subs. And you have now come in and dropped 20 subs. Thank you so much for the support here on the channel. If you got a sub from Exid, please make some noise. They were our sub gift leader from last week. Thank you very much, dude. Signman, Exid was our 50 sub leader last week. He crushed it for us last week. I am thankful AF, you know? Like, any streamer you see that's doing a job like this, that does not have 1,000 people in their chat, they are held up or propped up by a community of very generous individuals. You know, that's just a fact. You either have like thousands of casual fans who maybe subscribe and like that's it, or like dozens of like very generous individuals. I understand that. I am thankful. You know, here we are. Exit, how is your day going, huh? Have you been able to enjoy Star Citizen this week? Or has the new patch got you down? Because the new patch is not excellent. It's okay. But, you know. I'm going to go in here and fix these boxes. Now, you don't necessarily need to have them on the grid anymore. I have seen quite a few piles of boxes and items work without being on the grid. I'm just always careful about it. I always go back and make sure that they're on the grid before I send it down. Apollo says, what a mess. I was just chucking them. I'll fix it later. You know what I mean? It's like that Homer meme. Okay. Hucka290.
Hucka290 activated the Prime sub.
Hucka290, thank you for that Prime sub, who followed and then subscribed immediately. Have you been watching on YouTube or TikTok? That's usually what that means. I want to just take a quick moment again to say thank you very much to Exit for that 20 gifted sub pile. A bunch of you said thank you in the chat. If you got a sub and didn't say thank you yet, please do that for me. Exit says, my day has been really good so far. 4.9 could be more stable, but I'm taking a little break from the game. I think most of us are. I think the healthy move for the majority of the community is like, don't play right now. I'll play so you don't have to. You know what I mean? I'll do that for you. Okay? All right, we got 52 boxes on the grid right here. Send them down. Zappy, I'm on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. All right, now we're going to go back to my hangar. We're going to call my reclaimer, and we're going to make our way back to that location. Hopefully, we can jump right to it because I left my vulture there as a easy way to pin that location. Yeah, Apollo says, didn't seem like 52 boxes. No, because this ship is huge. Like, this ship is massive. Oh, Apollo, if your reclaimer's here, we'll just use yours then. Okay. If yours is here, that works for me, dude. Everybody, I'm going to run. I'll be right back. Apollo is going to call their reclaimer. Can we get some emotes in the chat for Apollo helping us out today, making the show more interesting? Thank you, dude. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm back. Just realized I probably got to get to a different hangar for this. Apollo's XL hangar. That's where we got to go. Okay, everybody, here is the Reclaimer. Currently the largest ship for salvaging in Star Citizen that's also a very old ship. Just like the Starfarer you saw, very old ship, so is this one. And much like the Starfarer, it's kind of out of date for what it's supposed to do, just like this ship is. This ship needs a complete rework when it comes to how the boxes get off the ship. Getting salvage boxes off of this ship is an absolute pain. It's terrible. They made it slightly better by making this little hatch over here open a little bit more, but it's still not enough. Like, every new salvage ship is designed to make it easy to get the boxes off. That's why the Moth has boxes that attach on the outside. This thing, the boxes are made way up inside there with this terrible elevator, and it's an example of a problem that happens when you design something in your game and then years later you figure out how it mechanically works. Those things never line up. It's still a cool looking ship. It still has some of the best landing gear in the game, with some of the coolest landing animations in the game, those massive shocks. Like, I love this ship. Do not get it mixed up. I'm a big fan of this ship. I just realize its flaws in the current implementation of the game. Trying to blame what I said on Loresplain, I think, is a stretch. Here is how you get into the ship. Stand here and look for the magic button. Tom says, I'm loving the game. Just got my first joysticks, and I spent 3 hours trying to get the bindings perfect. Hey, don't worry. That getting the controls perfect thing is going to be the next couple months of your life. But that's fine. Try stuff, you know? And if you want to copy some of my bindings, do exclamation bindings to get a map showing you what I chose to put places. There's a guy named Buzzkiller who posts their bindings as well. Look them up. See if you like what they do. You also could look up Subliminal. He always posts different bindings. Go look at his. See what you think of his. Like, use all the people out there who have already done the work to find what works for you. You know? Yeah, we're here to help. I'm thirsty. There we go. And if you didn't know, the game has face tracking. That was my low-key way of showing you that. And the fact that you can make a character that looks just like you in real life, if you're willing to be patient enough to work with the face creator in the game. See, it's me. Got the same head. Why is Hadanite so hard to find? Because it's a high tier commodity. Are you using my favorite site to find it? Hold on, I'll show you. Bum, 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 bum. This one. Hadanite. Here are all the numbers, but it looks like the numbers are all the same for ground mining. Didn't realize that. Didn't realize all the ground mining was the same numbers. Rip. Sorry about that. Was hoping that they'd be different in space like these are, but it's not. Good luck. That sucks. Sorry about that. Here we go. Hadanite. None in space. All surface. 2% chance on Yella. 2.9% chance Hurston. Yeah, it looks like it's all 2.8 and all 2.9%. Oh, 3% Ignis, Moon, and Pyro. Obviously, the best are going to be these caves. Yeah, it looks like caves are your best bet here. This site is really, really good. I like it a lot. Type exclamation find rocks in my Twitch chat for it. It's the Strata. Big fan of this one. Welcome to the cockpit of the Reclaimer. Gotta say, awesome view here, looking at the planet Bloom. Pilot seat there. Claw operator seat there. Ah, Apollo stepping aside for me. I'll fly us down. All right, thanks, buddy. Everyone say thank you to Apollo for the ship here. Amazing. I'll hop right here. All right, so can we just jump to my ship using the game systems? Let's try. Nope. Nope. No. We cannot do that using the game system. That's fine. It was... Was it Shadowfall? I think it was Shadowfall. We are not getting a marker. Shadowfall or Shepherd's Rest? It's one of those. I'm not getting a marker for my ship. Even though I left my ship here. I am... Oh, wait. That's it. That's it right there. That number. That random-ass number is my ship. Wouldn't it be nice if it actually gave me the marker or told me that was my ship? Sam thinks it was Windfall. Sam, were you paying more attention than me? You might have been. Yeah. It's over there. Clear? Yes. Windfall was the location. Thank you, Sam Carlson, for remembering the things that I forgot. Thank you. Here we are. Looks like a fat tick. You're not wrong. That is my ship right over there. Now, I'm not getting the ping for the other ship yet, unless it's that little arrow there. We're going to find out. Now, there is a chance that the ship I was working on despawned. There's a chance. There's also a chance it's still there. Beacons work sometimes, beacons don't work other times. The only thing consistent about Star Citizen is its inconsistence. Facts. Okay, I can see two things down there. There it is. Yes. The ironclad is still there. Let's do it. That light you were seeing is the headlight on my ship, the Drake Vulture, right next to the player ironclad that we discovered about 3 hours ago and have been harvesting ever since. I already scraped the entirety of the outside of it using my Vulture, and now we are returning in the Reclaimer to get all of the construction materials inside the ship. We should be able to fracture the entire hull and then, like, disintegrate and suck up all of the materials. The Reclaimer is a very slow, lumbering brick of a ship. You could fly it faster, but I wouldn't recommend it because the more mass a ship has, the harder it is to stop. And I would rather take longer getting somewhere and be able to stop than save myself a few minutes and potentially crash into the ground. I speak from experience, as I have crashed almost every ship in this game at this point. Alucard is correct. I probably could survive hitting the ground in this thing. All right, we're going to get down right in front of this, and then I will switch to the co-pilot chair, which has the disintegration claw. So the claw on the ship was originally designed to, like, reach out and crunch ships, but CIG realized they didn't really know how to do that in the game's tech. So they kind of made a workaround where instead of it being a claw that grabs the ship, it's a claw that, like, uses sound waves to shake the ship. But then why is it shaped like a claw if it's using sound waves? I don't know. Don't read into it too much. Just be happy it works. Oh, a little bit of a weird lag spike there of sorts. All right, we're going to stop right here, and we're going to move over to the claw. Power on. The arm is deploying. Those lights are blinding. Dude, there. The lights are so insanely bright. The claw is out. And we are already starting to fracture the ship. I think. I can't tell if that green thing is moving or not. I'm going to press the fracture button. Now it's working. It says fracturing now. Awesome. Oh, we're also separately working on the command module. Look at that. The command module is separate in this situation and just exploded. Very interesting. Meanwhile, we're going to get 394 SCU from this thing. I love how it just made the command module pop. This thing is crunching it up like it ain't nothing. And now we switch to disintegration mode and suck all that up. I'm already pretty close. I very much doubt being closer would give me more units of stuff there. I mean, you can't get that much closer. .9 is no better than 4.8 in my opinion, Ethan. Just brings some different bugs. I'm there, and now it's gone. I was staring at this first time chatter message from Lozda, and I don't think I understand it. So I'm going to read it out loud for everybody. Ender, I always wondered from seeing your gear shorts? God, that's got to be a typo. Seeing your something shorts. How are you not ADHD or shifty enough to get pissed off by fixed stick positions? What? I don't know what you're asking. While I am not officially diagnosed ADHD, I definitely have some of the characteristics, but I don't think I truly have ADHD, but I could have some of those things. I mean, I think we all have some of it, right? But I don't know what you're asking. What are you asking me? Some clarity would be helpful. Thank you so much. Look how fast that was. That was so fast. Salvaging the outside of a ship takes forever. Getting the construction materials is almost immediate. Lozda says, your joysticks are mounted to your desk. How are you able to sit still and not try to shift the sticks all over the place? They're drilled in place, so they're always in the same place. Otherwise, they would move a little bit, which I don't want. That's why they're drilled in. And I have enough room here for a controller if I want to play a controller game. That's the design. Apollo, let's just go back to that station. Let's go back to the same station we were at and drop off all that stuff. You can You just leave my ship here. Don't even worry about it. We just zoom. That ship is dead to me now. We're done. I'll leave it there. Everyone in the chat, please say thank you to Apollo for helping make this endeavor easier to do. I have the ship too, but I would have had to call mine. It would have taken longer. We could have crunched up my vulture if I wanted to, but I'm not. I'm going to leave it. I'll come back for it. I'll fly a ship I don't care about down there and leave that there. But this is one of the problems in the game, is that CIG has still not made it to the point where we have to care about our ships. There are no penalties for claiming a new ship. And I'm not saying I want them yet. The game is still quite glitchy. But until there are penalties on claiming a ship, we're always going to just claim ship and fly a new one. Which is why we had the money grind, the glitch problem and people duping. And that's why we have to have the brick ship thing. Like, we have to have all of these workarounds right now because of the fact that you can just call a ship and it costs nothing. There's no reason not to, you know? Eventually, it'll be really expensive in the game and difficult in terms of time and effort and in-game credits to call a new ship. I look forward to that. Apollo, just take it back to Obituary. That's a problem for tomorrow, Ender. Tomorrow, Ender will deal with that. Today, Ender is done. We're just going to store it. This is one of the biggest ships for salvaging in the game. It is called the Reclaimer. Has some of the brightest headlights of any ship in the game as well. As you can see, we're being blinded by those lights. Yeah, the only ships that are difficult to reclaim right now are like Polaris and Idris, because they will take a lot of time. But any small ship, why would you ever not just reclaim it? Kayla, my largest ship is a Polaris. Last year, I hit a high, as in I got the most subs in 1 month I've ever gotten about a year ago. And to celebrate that moment for me, I bought myself a Polaris. Zenith. Perseus is a really awesome combat ship. Great combat ship. But you need friends. You know. Got my chickpea salad wrap right here.
Maddox_1 has subbed for 54 months.
Everybody, look at that. Maddox hitting the 54-month subscriber milestone.
Perfect landing.
With the great landing by Apollo right there. Love the way those shocks make the whole ship just, you know. But we will reorient a little bit to get those boxes off the ship a bit easier. There's a tiny little port right there that will open up, and we can fling the boxes out into that elevator down there. It's not the best, but it is what it is, you know? Maddox says, I always make the hissing noises when I land that ship. What? Running through the reclaimer to get to the salvage area. In the chat, it says, can I see the Polaris? Yeah, sure. There you go. That's the Polaris. Looks like that. You could have looked that up yourself. Now, here we are. It's time to spit the boxes out. Oh, did you already make all the boxes? Are these them? Or are they inside here? Oh, Pandemanium did this for us. Aha. Thank you, Panda. Now the question is, how do we get that stupid hatch open? There we go. And now we just, like, chuck them out. Here, we're going to watch Apollo do this. Look at what a nightmare this is. I'm going to go downstairs. I'll let Apollo do that. He's better at that than me. I'm going to suck at doing that, like, so bad. OSHA is watching you casually yeet 32 SCU boxes out of a sky door. Well, look, if they didn't want us to do it this way, they would have designed it better. CIG would have designed this better. This is what we have, okay? This is what we have. This will get a rework one day. Yeah, who knows? Who knows when? Do I eat much jackfruit? Yeah, jackfruit's good. I typically only eat jackfruit when I'm at a restaurant that does like a pork substitute, because jackfruit is really good at doing like pork or carnitas kind of substitute dishes. That's kind of the only times I ever have it, really. I think I had jackfruit raw for the first time when I was in Bali recently, actually. Look how dumb this is. If CIG wanted to help us with this ship, they would have just removed that hatch entirely. They would have made it so that when you hit a button, that hatch just like slides all the way over there. Like put a hinge on this and make it open all the way up. So we have a hole that just toss them down. You know? That would have been better. And yes, having a max lift tractor beam would make this faster, but I don't have one and I'm not going to get one. You can literally take your friends out with these boxes, by the way. Like, I think the day that the tractor beam change went in a couple, like maybe a year or so ago, I have a memory of like Pandemanium just like full on killing me with the box like this. Or maybe I killed them. Oh my God. Case in point. Right there. All right, that might be it. Unless there's... Oh, nope, I got some more. All right. Get a bite of my sandwich. And we're done. Everything you're seeing right here, this is all construction materials from one ironclad. This is an entire ironclad crunched up for the construction materials. Let's see how many units that is. I think it's like 230 or 290. Let's see. That is 152 SCU right there. Damn. Wait, that was units. No, that was units of like individual boxes. That was not accounting for how big the boxes are. Right? Or was that accounting for everything? I thought it was more. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's a lot. Okay? It's a lot. All right, so it looks like our numbers are in. For salvaging an entire player ironclad, we had roughly 52 boxes of RMC and 150 boxes of construction materials. Cool. Very cool. Thank you, Apollo, for all the help with all of that. Thank you, Pandemanium, for the behind-the-scenes help. I'm going to sit right here and pretend to be selling these wares here at the obituary station. I'm gonna just sit right here and pretend that I'm selling these books. I got some fine books for sale here. Yep. Trying to make my payments, you know. Space fuel ain't cheap, you know. We'll kind of role play this a little bit. And while we're role playing that, I'm gonna get something else on screen for you. Hold on. Please hold. Please hold. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum. I have not watched the behind the ships on the new Basher yet. I didn't watch this video. I don't think I was streaming the day that it launched. So let's watch it. It's a video all about the newest ship in the game, the Basher, and here it is.
When we introduced the Grey's Market Shiv last year, it was an interesting time to be able to bring that sort of junker aesthetic into the Star Citizen universe.
Let's start it over with subtitles.
When we introduced the Grey's Market
This song is very like Monday Night Football, right?
Shiv last year, it was an interesting time to be able to bring that sort of junker aesthetic into the Star Citizen universe.
It really embodied a style of art called kit bashing and brought it to you guys, the players.
You can approach it in
Ford
different ways than
commercial
other
song.
manufacturers.
Yeah.
You don't need to adhere to all the typical rules.
I like that we get this opportunity to make these ships that aren't pristine and neat and tidy.
And we're proud to introduce the new addition from Grey's Market, the Basher. Basher is a light fighter, and it prioritizes guns over literally absolutely everything else.
The light fighter is really fun because they're far more maneuverable than the higher fighters in the class.
It's meant for quite close dogfight, especially in close combat ranges.
And this one's particularly well gunned as well, so it's going to give you a lot of firepower.
It's got its 6 size 2 weapons and its 2 missile launchers.
And whilst they are new weapons, they are not bespoke or unique to the ship. You can swap them with other weapons of the same size. On paper, something like this is a challenge to balance. On the first read, you go six guns, that's a lot. They are size 2, so they're not the most powerful guns in the game, but they are perfectly capable of taking on other fighters and dealing damage. But the big consideration with this ship is the size of it. It is significantly smaller than any of the other light fighters in the game.
It's a overall trade-off between being a very small compact fighter, which is very hard to hit, but also it's quite very low durability compared to all other ships in the class.
I didn't realize it was that small next to the Merlin. Wow. Okay. So it's much smaller than I thought it was. Damn.
Hard to hit.
Hey, thanks for those 100 bits. Legranach? I butchered your name. I'm so sorry.
But also it's quite very low durability compared to all other ships in the class. You need to be very aware of your piloting skill, and you need to be very conscious about all the threats surrounding you, because as soon as you get hit, you're gonna feel it.
The overall aesthetic, as with all,
Let's watch that again. Yeah, one hit.
the overall aesthetic, as with all of our Grey's ships, it's got this really interesting cobbled together aesthetic to it that makes it very different from the rest of our ships.
So the first thing you're really going to notice on the exterior of the Basher is just how big the engines are in comparison to the kind of like the rest of the body. We wanted the cockpit and the engines to be sat quite far back, and we kind of wanted this almost sort of like hot roddy kind of feel to the vehicle.
It's a pod racer.
You'll see a lot of parts taken or inspired by other ships in the game, and you'll see a lot of Drake parts Buccaneer parts. There's a bit of the Gladius in there. There's a bit of the Aurora in there.
There's a bit of the Avenger in there too, isn't there?
Yeah, there's all sorts in there, and a few other little surprise pieces.
So when you're working on a ship like this that's got so many different things bodged together, the biggest challenge is what we would call resolving forms. Everything is a sharp edge and everything is like an afterthought.
You walk around and it's a bunch of stacked bits of metal, barely put together. The weapon rack is just a broken fence. And the personal storage is like a filing cabinet welded into the ship.
If it looks bodged, it is. And over everywhere, you're going to see cables, you're going to see bits of metal bolted on, rust, all that character that we talked about with what makes this manufacturer so special from an artistic standpoint.
The enter and exit animations are sort of a byproduct of how we build our ships. For a lot of ships, we use templated animations, so a lot of the touch points that you use and the position your character moves is shared between a lot of ships. Occasionally we do new animations, such as on the Wharf. But for this one, we used the Merlin enter-exit. And we couldn't quite get the character to climb and maneuver over the ship, so we thought, what's a great way that we can integrate this?
This was solved by just cutting a hole in the wing. Maybe it's from a past explosion or fight. Maybe it's from a ship that they already took and was already damaged.
Wait, so they put the hole in the wing because they wanted to reuse an animation for getting into the ship? That's really, really funny. Like, that's hilarious.
This was solved by just cutting a hole in the wing. Maybe it's from a past explosion.
Hey, boss, we can't get this animation to work. Why? The character is like climbing weird. Should we make a new animation? Nah, just cut a hole in the ship. Just cut a hole in it, and then the player goes into that hole. It's gonna work fine, right? The engineering behind this ship is exactly what Gray's ships are supposed to be. Amazing.
This was solved by just cutting a hole in the wing. Maybe it's from a past explosion or fight. Maybe it's from a ship that they already took and was already damaged.
Holy shit, that is
We used
funny.
like, different bits of rebar instead of ladders. It's just a fun take on something we've done before.
I think the cockpit is probably one of my favourite parts of Basher.
The view is unlike anything else we have in the game.
Someone's kind of built this just out of parts. It's not built to be safe.
I like to think of it as like a rally car in a sense. Like it has this kind of mesh wire that's got holes cut in it, almost like they couldn't find a complete bit of mesh that was going to fit the window.
Definitely one of the vibiest cockpits in the game. A lot of stuff blocking your view, but this ship is all about immersion, you know? If you're concerned about all of this, then you're not going to use this ship, you know? There are so many ships in this game that are almost the same ship. And what I like about this one is that it's very different. You know? Think about how many ships in this game you can be flying and then like another one is like almost the same. And this one's coded different in every single element. And I think that's why it's interesting. I think that's why it's worth talking about, you know? They did a good job with this one. I want more really weird, unique ships in the game. I don't need another generic light fighter. I don't need another generic hauling ship. Like, that's what's cool about this one.
The dashboard on the Basher is very similar to old Drake ships. Everything lights up in different states. So when you turn the ship on, it doesn't just turn on like another ship. There's definitely wiring problems.
It doesn't feel like somewhere you would want to be in a crisis, but you know, you're the person driving into the crisis.
The other big defining part of the cockpit kind of experience and cockpit view is obviously the crane.
it makes the silhouette so interesting and so different that it's a real unique piece to the ship.
This lines up perfectly with the reticle, so it helps with aiming.
And then obviously, if you find you're kind of in combat and that's becoming slightly distracting, you know, you can jump into the front camera and get like a real good zoomed in view as well. So on launch, the ship doesn't come with any kind of cosmetic
Or you can take the crane off with a multi-tool. Just get rid of it.
kits other than the crane, which comes as standard, which you're able to kind of remove if you so
Or
wish.
there.
But we do hope to explore more cosmetic kits. It gives more options to our players for visual upgrades, and I think it's a really kind of nice and exciting thing to be able to do. The paints for the Basher are kind of what you would expect if you're familiar with the ship's paints.
There's some of the things like the default paints as well as the floral pattern and skull.
What we wanted to try and do with the Grey's Market vehicles is give them quite a strong brand identity on top of a visual style we've already established.
Very happy with this ship. It's been great to see it come to fruition.
I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a really, I don't want to say cute, because it's definitely not a cute ship, unique ship.
I think it adds a new dimension to the combat experience in game, and I think people will have a lot of fun flying this.
It's not the jalopy.
Yeah, I know she said junker
That's a different ship. One day, hopefully.
instead of jalopy.
I did say Junker instead of jalopy intentionally.
No, I wouldn't call these jalopies. A jalopy to me is a very specific sort of beetle.
You can
I
stop
don't know.
talking.
This is inside joke territory, by the way. This is for only longtime backers, this entire moment here.
A jalopy to me is a very specific sort of beetle.
You can
I
stop
don't know.
talking.
I feel like jalopy has a negative kind of connotations with it, and I'm not sure I'm on board with that. I think it's more a junker, I think, rather than a jalopy.
This is me banging my head on the microphone. I need you to say it's a jalopy.
No, I don't think it's a jalopy.
I can't help but just think of like pizza when I think of jalopy. If we ever make a round ship that like has like sections that can like separate off and fly away, then we can call it the jalopy. Okay.
There we go. Yeah. I really like this ship. Like, I often harp on CIG for just making too many ships. And I'll be like, wow, another ship. Who cares? Or I'll be like, wow, another ship. It's marginally better than another ship, you know? But with this one, it is really different. And because it's really different, it's going to attract a very specific kind of player in the game, you know? And it makes me think about how it could be integrated in the future of the game differently than other ships. Like, will this ship be lower to claim in the future? Like, will it have a significantly lower claim cost? Or will it be the exact same? Is it only going to be cosmetically different? I don't know. Will the wear and tear be different? Because the ship is already kind of worn to begin with. You know? These are all future game thoughts and things, you know. None of them are necessarily important right now. But, you know, every now and then it is fun to think about the future of the game and how the things they've done now are important. I do like that a lot. I really appreciate that they did not make these guns bespoke. CIG has made ships too often where the weapons don't come off those ships. Looking at you, L-21 Wolf and L-22 Wolf, why did those have to be bespoke guns? I like that this one is not. They did make new weapons for it, but you can take them off and put them on something else, you know? That's great. I think the only ships that should have bespoke weapons are ones that are very specific to the ship, like the Gatling on the Inferno or the laser on the Ion. Those are essentially, you know, A-10 Warthog ships where It's more like a gun with a ship surrounding it, you know? But yeah, I like the ship. It's interesting. I actually didn't fall in love flying it the other day. Like, we flew it the other day and it was fun. I did not fall in love flying it, but I feel like it's more of a role play thing. Like, I need to wear that armor with the mohawk, you know, the old Grimhex mohawk armor. I got to get that armor. I need to have a whole theme where I only use that stuff. Use all the weird found pyro weapons, you know. You have to roll all of it in. I think that would be more fun to do like a full-on role play thing using that ship. I like this in the chat from Kayla. It says, it's not for me, but I'm glad it's in the game. Hey, Kayla, that's a really good way to go about it. Yeah, I'm bad. Yeah, the Clash armor and the Deadhead. Yeah, that's the stuff. Chaos Gremlin says, I lost all my rare helmets after the reset. Oh, I'm so sorry. Our friend Panda got a bunch of rare armor on the new patch just because. So some of us gained items and some of us lost items. Like, oh, timeout. These 2 armor sets here, Panda gained those just by doing nothing. That red set and that white Geist armor, he just got them because. Dude lucked out. Raj, everybody.
Rogenvalder 46 has subbed for 19 months. 19 months of my morning entertainment. Love ya, mate.
Thank you very much for the 19-month resubscription. I think you're going to be the last resubscriber of the night because we are about to raid out the channel. Yeah, you're definitely the last sub of the night. I'm looking to see who I want to raid. Bum, 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 bum. We are going to raid my friend Jet Set. That's what we're going to raid. They are playing Star Citizen, and we're going to throw them a raid. I want everyone out there to have a wonderful night. I hope you have a great morning, and I'll be back on stream to hang out with you tomorrow. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Good luck in-game if you're playing the game right now. And as always, happy flying. Shout out Exid and Navy's Moose for being the sub gift leaders today. Thank you, Apollo and Pandemanium, for joining in-game. TikTok, thanks for watching. YouTube, thanks for watching. Twitch, thank you the most for watching. Let's give a big pile of emotes to our friend Jet Set once we finish